RE 4670, the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. The Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, also known as Republic Act No. 4670, was designed to promote and improve the well-being and economic condition of public school teachers. It was introduced by Honorable Manuel B. Villar Jr. and was signed by President Ferdinand Marcos on June 18, 1966.
Article 1, Declaration of Policy Coverage. Section 1, Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared to be the policy of this Act to promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers, their living and working conditions, their terms of employment and career prospects, for them to may compare favorably with existing opportunities. Section 2, Title Definition. This Act shall be known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers and shall apply to all public school teachers except those in the professorial staff of state colleges and universities. Article 2, Recruitment and Career. This article is composed of 10 sections from Section 3 to Section 12. These are the following provided. There are specific minimum educational requirements for teacher candidates from the kindergarten to the tertiary levels. If the teachers have the proper civil service eligibility, no probationary period prior to regular appointment will be required. Teachers must be guaranteed job stability and tenure protection under existing legislation. Teachers appointed on a provisional basis are eligible for permanent appointment after serving the post for at least 10 years in a consistent, efficient, and loyal manner. Furthermore, no teacher shall be transferred from one station to another without his approval, unless for good reason and as otherwise as stated herein. However, no transfers shall be performed 3 months prior to any local or national election. If the teacher's transfer is eventually granted, the government will cover the teacher's and his family's necessary transfer expenditures. The Secretary of Education must create and prepare a code of professional conduct for public school teachers within 6 months of the Act's approval, and every teacher must have a copy of it. Every teacher shall be afforded equal protections and shall enjoy equitable safeguards at each stage of disciplinary procedure. Administrative charges against a teacher shall be heard first by a committee consisting of the school superintendent of the division or a duly authorized representative. In terms of discrimination, there should be no discrimination based on anything other than professional considerations in the admission to the teaching profession. For married couples, the proper authorities should make every effort to allow them, who are both public school teachers, to work in the same area. And academic freedom shall be granted to teachers in the performance of their professional tasks, particularly in reference to teaching and classroom practices.
And now let's have Article 3, the Hours of Work and Remuneration. This article consists of 9 sections, starting Section 13, the Teaching Hours, Section 14, Additional Compensation, Section 15, Criteria for Salaries, Section 16, Salary Scale, Section 17, Equality in Salary Scale, Section 18, Cost of Living Allowance, Section 19, Special Hardship Allowance, Section 20, Salaries to be paid in legal tender, and lastly, Section 21, the Deduction Prohibited. This article provides what are the rights of teacher in terms of salary. First, teachers must only spend not more than 6 hours per day in teaching. If ever the teacher spends more than the required time of teaching, there will be an additional compensation, at least 25% of his basic pay. It also stated here the criteria for the salaries. There's also the salary increment after 3 years. It also stated here the allowances that teachers shall have. First, the cost of living allowance and the special hardship allowance.
Article 4, Health Measures and Injury Benefits, consists of Section 22, Medical Examination and Treatment, and Section 23, Compensation for Injuries. This article states that all teachers must get a free medical checkup before beginning their careers as teachers. This test must be repeated at least once a year throughout their careers. Furthermore, the teachers are to be compensated when injured, whereas the physical and nervous strain on a teacher's health are included.
And now, let's proceed to Article 5, leave and retirement benefits, which consist of 3 sections. First, Section 24, study leave. Section 25, indefinite leave. And lastly, Section 26, salary increase upon retirement. In this article, it informed all teachers that they can file a study leave that will not exceed 1 school year after 7 years of services, and also entitled to have at least 60% of their monthly salary. They can also file an indefinite leave as their sickness demands a long treatment that will exceed 1 year at the least. Then, the salary increase upon retirement. The teacher who reached the retirement age and service criteria will be given 1 range salary upon retirement.
Article 6, a teacher's organization. This article provides a Section 27, freedom to organize, Section 28, discrimination against teachers prohibited, and Section 29, national teachers' organizations. Teachers in public schools shall have the freedom to form and join organizations of their choice to defend their interests without prior authorization. In addition, it shall be unlawful for any person to commit any acts of discrimination against teachers which are calculated to relinquish the teacher's membership in an organization, to cause a teacher's other prejudice because of his participation in organization activities outside of school hours or with the consent of the proper school authorities or within school hours, and to penalize him for an action unrelated to his position in the organization. On the other half, this article also states that the teachers' groups from across the country will be consulted in the development of national educational policies and professional standards.
And now, let's move on to the last article, Article 7, Administration and Enforcement, which consists of 6 sections. First, Section 30, Rules and Regulations. Section 31, Budgetary Estimates. Section 32, Penal Provision. Section 33, Repelling Clause. Section 34, Separability Clause. And the last section, Section 35, this Act shall take effect upon its approval. This last article is all about, first is the work that the Secretary of Education must fulfill in order to make this Act effective, such as formulating, preparing, and implementing the rules and regulations, and the yearly submission of the required financial estimates to the Congress. Then, the penalty for the person who interfere, restrain, and coerce any teacher in the exercise of his rights shall be punished by paying a fine or by imprisonment, and also the repelling clause and separability clause. Lastly, this Act shall take effect upon its approval.
It safeguards the rights of teachers such as tenure, academic freedom, and other advantages. According to the existing legislation, the consequences of physical and nervous strain on the teacher's health must be recognized as a compensable occupational condition.